Hello folks, Jonathan Milam here with a trumpet review. I've got an Adams A6. Doesn't it look like the old Constellation? Really does. 5¼ inch bell, except this Constellation remake, very light. A light gauge brass, 40 gauge from the good folks at Adams. And I've got here a actual Constellation, the old nickel silver beauty from Con. What I'm going to start off doing is playing both of them with a Bach 7. Bach 7, both of them. Very interesting mouthpiece. I really like it. It's a modified V where the 7C by Bach is, of course, more of a C cup. But you get an idea. Strangely enough, one of the heaviest horns that I've had. I think I had a Taylor that was a little bit lighter than this, believe it or not. And this is one of the lightest horns I've had. 2 pounds, 3 ounces, 2 pounds, 12 ounces, I believe, was the weigh-in, the tail of the scale. We'll start off just the old Broadway tune. Wouldn't that be lovely? I'll play it first on, of course, the star of the night, which is the Adams A6, and then I'll play it on the Connie. Then we'll let the Connie rest for a while. It's had a good long life. Rick, thank you for the opportunity to have this. It's a friend of mine's horn here in the Charleston area, and we'll maintain playing a couple of different other mouthpieces with the Adams A6. But we'll start off, wouldn't that be lovely, playing the wonderful Adams A6, a Constellation look-alike. Of course, it's got new tooling, wonderful new valves, new slides, whole 9 yards, and we'll get into some talk about it later. And these horns are so different. Of course, if I had an old Constellation trumpet, it would be as well. The bore on the Adams that I just played, like the old Connie, I believe, about 0.438, 438 thousandths. The bore on this, 485, 484, so a very large bore, small bell, and this is a small bore, the trumpet, small bore, large bell. Very interesting. And if you think weight gives a darker tone, you'll be surprised to see this cornet plays a lot more brassy, even though it is a much heavier nickel silver. Kind of a breathy sound. I really do like this Bach 7. And if you notice, I hate to say this, but just a little dirt under my fingernails, got an old 1921 100-year-old Cornet in today. Again, it's Rick's. We've been looking at it for a while together, but I was the one that was able to pick it up, and that means I got my hands on it first, cleaned it a little bit, and was amazed how deep, how very deep the cup is on that, and it's an original 1921 mouthpiece. And of course, they say they wanted that breathy tone with the old cornets, and maybe the Bach 7 here gave you just a little taste of that. Okay, I'm going to play this just to show its diversity. Would make a great lead horn if you want to do that with the 438 bore. It's going to be extremely efficient, incredibly light horn. Lightest horn I can remember having. When I had all the valves out, was cleaning it up, just amazing. Of course, you know, valves are the heaviest part of the horn, piece for piece. And with that out, it just felt like there was nothing in my hand, a wonderful feel. Now this You can't see in here, I'm sorry, don't have the best lighting. This is a brass horn with nickel overlay. That's the way that this particular horn was. If you read here, of course, it'll say Adams, and then it will say Winslow. What does that say? Winslow Dynasty. Dante Winslow, great trumpet player. I believe he might have had this horn in his hands at one time. Only bit of wear we've got is, well, the most significant wear. This is from 1912, is where the finger rests here, and they have wore through the nickel plate. Not real noticeable because your hand is usually there when you're playing it, and you never see it at any rate. That's the most significant wear. Otherwise, the nickel is held up quite well. Okay, I wouldn't use this just for a lead horn. It's too good a horn. I'd do everything with it. But towards that end, I'm going to use a Reeves C to J. Boy, does this thing purr, with a big mouthpiece. Very deep trumpet flugel hybrid mouthpiece. And we'll show you what that sounds like. Really a creamy big tone, as would befit a large bell and a nice large mouthpiece as well. It played so dark, I thought the lights were going out. Nice, nice tone. Isn't that really a great trumpet? All right, the mouthpiece I'm trying to play mostly now. I've got a Warburton 6 MC that I really like, but I'm trying to use my Reeves 42C. It's a little deeper, little bigger throat, little bigger drill, and then trying not to get too used to too tight a setup, trying to keep my chops expanded. But 42C, wonderful mouthpiece by Reeves. I consider this very much a middle-of-the-road mouthpiece, not quite as big a cup as the 3C, but certainly in that direction, in that ballpark, if you please. Okay, same thing then with a modest mouthpiece. Okay, going to do one other thing. I'm not going to switch mouthpieces again, but I'm going to take it up a fourth so you'd get an idea. Really, this 42C could be used for anything. I suppose that it probably has a commercial leaning towards the back bore, but Reeves mouthpieces are so tied well together, so well put together. We'll raise it up a fourth, give you an idea if you're going to use it for lead, what it might sound like. What a marvelous trumpet. I had an A2. It's on its way up to a good friend up in Canada. And this is the A6. Just very impressed with the Adams horns. Got to be honest with you. I think you'll be seeing more of them in my my vid demos in the future. I'm anxious to try out some of the models and see how they work. As always, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate the thumbs up. Love even more the comments that you give. If you've got experience with them, while it does look like a Connie, there's a tremendous amount of difference. With this one, at least, with the 40 gauge bell, very, very light horn. I think they make it in a 45. I'm sure you could order a 50, whatever you want. They have brass out, solid brass without the nickel overlay. Lots of options from the Adams people. As always, folks, a pleasure touching base with you. Take care of yourself in these rough times that we live in, and take care of someone near you. As always, just keep in touch if you can, if you're able, and take care during the holiday seasons. Keep your spirits up and the spirits of those round about you.